Okay, so considerations for getting this in place. If you've been to any of these town halls, you've heard me say that the Microsoft 365 E5 license is the hero license. And if you have an E3 and you're looking at more than 2 add-ons to that E3, you might as well just go up to the E5 because you're already in the pricing ballpark. That's true here too. So if you are just adding Power BI Pro onto Microsoft 365 E3, fair enough. But if you have other add-ons, such as any of the Defender licenses, you start to get to a place where it makes sense to just go up to the E5. Again, the E5 includes the Power BI Pro license, not the premium, so you might still be looking at add-ons depending on which features you want to use. But always take into account what licensing you already have in place, what you can step up, and what gets you the most bang for your buck if you go with a bundle rather than a la carte. Another thing to keep in mind is other products that are in use. So at Agile IT, we are 100% unapologetically Microsoft focused. And this is one of the ways that we think it just really makes sense to use all Microsoft products. Power BI integrates really nicely with Viva Goals, which is an add-on license of its own. But if you're using the Viva Suite or you're using Viva Goals as a personnel management platform, and if you have KPIs that all roll up into each other, this is a really great way to just get those all talking automatically rather than having to update one or the other to match whichever one is the source of truth. So if you have company roll-ups where everyone's goals and KPIs matter and you want to look in one place, but you also have to go look in another, using a product like Viva Goals alongside Power BI really just makes it easier to have all of those things happening so that you don't have to go and do them manually. Again, another consideration here is going to be resource capabilities. Power BI is designed to be user-friendly. Again, it has a lot of that formatting from Microsoft Word. So it is an easier entry point for someone who's not familiar with data visualization tools and is new to that space. If you really feel like that's just going to take more time than you have, but you know you want that analysis as soon as possible, Copilot bridges that gap, so you're able to get that in place sooner. And then lastly, the big consideration is your intended audience. If you want to go individual versus organization, the organization-wide licensing is pretty pricey. The kind of point of payoff is going to be if you are using Power BI Pro and you have at least 500 users that need to consume but not create those dashboards, it might make sense to go capacity versus individual. Similarly, if you have at least 250 users that are consuming premium dashboards, then it might make sense to go organization versus individual. But again, until you have those numbers in place and you know that your audience is going to be that large, individual licensing so that everyone who needs to see it is part of it, maybe it's just like a data team, that tends to be a perfectly reasonable starting point for most organizations.